In today's training for supervisors, we are going to learn about logging a case contact for a CASA case and also how to edit other case details. So I have clicked on cases in the left-hand sidebar, and that brought me here. Now I'm going to choose a case number to click on. Let's select this one. And when I click into a case, I see a lot more details. I'm going to go back one more time just to show you another way you can get to that. So I accessed that page by clicking on a case number, but you can also get there by clicking on edit over here. And that will actually take you right back to the edit page directly. And then one other way to view and edit CASA case details is by clicking on Detail View. This is essentially the same as clicking on the case number. There we go. So up here we see the case number. These would be filled out if they were applicable to this case. They are not a transition-aged youth. Supervisor hasn't yet said when their next court date is or when their next court report is due by the volunteer. That's why it's listed as not submitted. The volunteer assigned to this youth is Herlinda Poros. And if we wanted to view that volunteer's profile, we could click on it here. And down here we see all of the case contacts logged here by the volunteer on behalf of this case. So these are all of the hours that the volunteer assigned to this case has logged with them, and you can see the date they occurred, the duration, whether or not contact was made. That means whether or not the volunteer actually spoke to the person that they were trying to make contact with. Over here we see video, whether or not miles were driven. In this case they were. Yes, the volunteer wants a reimbursement, and it was created by Herlinda Poros, who was the volunteer that we see assigned to the case here. Now, as a supervisor, I may want at some point to actually log a case contact myself to put on the record time that I spent communicating with a member of the cases team or with the youth themselves. So I'm going to click on this new case contact button. And it's the same thing a volunteer would see. We've got the case number here, the different contact types that it might be. All of these categories are determined by an administrator at your CASA organization. You can speak to them if they seem off or if you'd like different categories. Different types can be customized. So let's go ahead and click on youth for this example, and maybe also the social worker. You can click on as many as you'd like. And then whether or not contact has been made, that means did the youth show up at the time that they said they would? Did they show up at all? Really is the question. If I was trying to call them, did they pick up? If they called me back, I would probably consider that yes, the contact has been made. But if I more or less overall attempted to make contact with them and was not successful, then I would click no. For this case, I will click yes. Let's say that the contact occurred in person. You might be wondering, how might a contact over text or email be measured as successful or unsuccessful? Well, let's say I'm texting the youth and they are not responding. I would consider that a no. Contact was not made. Let's say I email them and I say in my email, please write back and let me know latest by tonight or tomorrow, and I never hear back from them. I would also label that as a no. If they are responsive in any of the communications, then yes, contact has been made. Down here you can choose the duration by either typing it in or by using the slider. The lowest minute increment that you can measure is actually 15. And it's the same thing there. This is the date that it occurred. It cannot be in the future, but it can be in the present or in the past. So I'm going to log it as a case contact that happened yesterday. I did not drive, so I'm not going to write that there, but if for some reason I did and I need to track that, I can enter that right here. And this is really not applicable generally for supervisors, but if you are in a CASA organization that offers you reimbursements for driving, you might want to select that here. And then down here, as a supervisor, you can add some notes. And they might read something along the lines of checked in with youth to see how new volunteer assignment is going. And this just asks me to confirm my note content. We work very hard to ensure that we don't accidentally reveal any personal identifying information about the case or the volunteer or anyone else really on the platform. And this is just one final opportunity for you to do that before submitting your note. And if you realize, you know what, I could actually be a little bit more anonymous, I might click go back to form. That won't submit it. It'll give me an opportunity to edit first. And if I reread it and I deem that it is great, I will click submit, and then I can hit continue submitting, and that will actually process the submission this time, and you get that confirmation message up here that says case contact was successfully created. And you can actually see that here now. Here's the date, this is everything I entered, and you can see that my name is listed here instead of the volunteers to differentiate between who created which case contact, and my notes show up here as well. And that is how you create a new case contact as a supervisor.